What an episode to come back to. Roll the intro, because I have stuff to say.
My little pony, what is friendship all about? My little pony, friendship is magic.
Greetings, my brony and Pegasus friends. Welcome to Crimson Analysis. In this episode, I'll be analyzing Season 8, Episode 22, What Lies Beneath. And what an episode. I hope this episode won't be too long, but I have a lot to say. I'm really happy we're getting a lot more episodes with the students. At this point, I was like, what the heck is going on? I was actually thinking that for most of this episode. I instantly thought this was coming from the tree, because of the setup. But as I understand it, isn't the tree quite far away from here? I mean, it's basically on the other side of the Everfree Forest. That's quite far away. I mean, I understand that the roots of a tree can be vast and far-reaching, but I don't think this far-reaching.
Nothing! I just can't believe that's how sinks work!
Yep, Silverstream is definitely my favorite of the student main six. I don't know what to think about this cute filly anymore. From the very first time we saw her, we all felt there was something off about her. We just couldn't put our finger on it. I never wanted to believe she was evil. I still don't. But this gives me pause to think. I think we all know that this isn't Twilight. But if it's not her, then who is it?
You're not Headmare Twilight, are you?
You're the Tree of Harmony!
This is huge. I always believed that the tree was sentient in some way, shape, or form. But now here, it has the ability to manifest itself and communicate with ponies directly. It's way more sentient than I thought it was. I said this back in the Mean Six review. The elements were somehow corrupted by the Mean Six. I mean, they went black for a moment. Now, if the elements had just glowed and then done this, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But because of the fact they go black, and then are black here right before they turn to a normal, I think something happened to them. And I don't think that theory holds up anymore. She doesn't seem evil to me at all. Now, I'm going to take a page out of Applegeek's review here. Sorry man, I like what you did, and I like the way you explained it, so I want to use it. From now on, I'm going to refer to the tree as Harmony, since the Tree of Harmony is kind of a mouthful. Also, I'm going to refer to the tree as a she, since calling her an it now kind of seems disrespectful. Now, going back to the beginning, it may seem like Harmony was corrupted somewhat from her encounter with the Mean Six and Chrysalis, since it seems pretty malicious, since she is threatening to lock the new Main Six down here if they fail their test.
By sunrise, this door will be closed. Finish the test before then, and you may go. Fail the test, and here you will stay.
I believe that was just an empty threat. I don't think Harmony has been corrupted by that encounter with Chrysalis at all. Even if these students had failed the test, I don't believe Harmony would have actually locked them down here. I believe she just said that to motivate them. We've seen that Harmony can be somewhat strong-willed. I mean, we know what she's capable of, we've seen it. It does seem a little like she's overreacting when she first meets them and gets angry.
You do not believe friendship is in your nature? That is not acceptable!
But considering what she is and what she stands for, seeing this kind of behavior would be frustrating for her. As to why she decides to test them, only time will tell. One thing that's really interesting that she mentioned is the fact that she changes as she grows, just like everyone else. And as she grows, so does her abilities.
Like all living things, I change as I grow. As I have grown, so have my abilities.
This interested me because I never really thought as the tree as something that would do that. It seems to be made of crystal, therefore I didn't think it would grow. But here, we see the roots of the tree pretty much everywhere. And she is getting stronger. The map that she is connected to and that she ultimately controls grew at the end of Season 7 to encompass everything we saw in the movie. And now is not only calling elemental ponies, but also the Keymark Crusaders, as well as Starburst, who has had no prior connection to the map. Now, I have thought this for some time. If she's this powerful now and can do this, is she responsible for some stuff that happened in Equestria Girls? This doesn't completely confirm it, but I'm thinking she might be. She might be responsible for why there are elements of harmony in the human world. Again, we'll have to wait to see if this pans out, but I think she could be responsible for it. She seems to be pretty powerful. Okay, now we have what I'm going to call the trials. Each student is pretty much forced to face their fears. Gallus is afraid of small spaces, so he was put into a confined space that kept closing, getting smaller and smaller. I think this has to do with where he is. We know that he's pretty much an orphan. He has no family in Griffinstone, so in a way he could have felt trapped in his own world, being that he has no one else to share it with. I'm going to take that one step further and say that it was also loneliness. Being a griffin, you're pretty much alone to begin with, even if you have no family. But Gallus actually has no family. He's completely alone in his world, in Griffinstone. I think that's also a fear for him here. He fears being alone. Therefore, being alone in a confined space is his fear. And now Silverstream, my favorite. I never really thought about this, but it kind of makes sense after being hiding for so long, would still be afraid of the Storm King returning. This is actually a legitimate fear. Never ever confronted the Storm King. Only one did, Skystar. She's the only one that came with the main six to confront the Storm King. And because that fear was never dealt with at that time, it still lingers. Smolder. This one was interesting and hilarious at the same time. Being a dragon, she shouldn't like cute, silly stuff, but she does. Kinda sounds like a brony, doesn't it? Being a dragon, her entire culture is based on bravado and competition. So to get out of her trial, she had to partake in it, and admit to herself that she actually does like this kind of stuff. I don't care if she likes this stuff, it's not gonna change who she is. She is still a dragon, and she will always be a dragon. Liking this kind of stuff doesn't change her character, it just adds to it. She can be a dragon and like this kind of stuff. Just like us. We can be big, strong men, but we can still like a little kid show. And seeing her in that outfit, oh, that was priceless. I'm not going to be going in order with these trials, I'm just going to break them down as I get to them. Yona. Sweet little Yona. So apparently it looks like she has a fear of spiders, which a lot of people do. She always wants to be friends with everyone she meets, and so as soon as she realized that the spiders wouldn't harm her, she immediately tries to befriend them, and basically gets her own friendship spider army. That was the only part of this episode where I was like, I don't know if that works. Now the cutest of the group, Ocelis. We don't know a lot about her backstory. We never saw her as a corrupt changeling. She seems to have a similar fear that Starlight often has. What if she hadn't changed as much as she thinks she has? Or, I guess more accurately, what if you can't change a changeling completely? What if that changeling need to feed is always buried deep inside? I find it very interesting that Ocelis didn't change into a corrupt changeling. She changed into Chrysalis herself. How close was she to the queen? Was Ocelis next in line for the throne? That's an interesting thing to think about. There's something just so weird about that voice coming out of that body.
It's me! I'm hideous!
Smolder helps her complete her trial by admitting to her that she likes cute, silly stuff, even though she's a dragon. So if a dragon can change, so can a changeling. Last but certainly not least, Sandbar. This one was a little bit harder to analyze, but I think I finally got it. Fear of failure, or more importantly, disappointing his teachers, ponies that he looks up to and that he sees as his role models. I think this goes for all of us, all those that have the chance to meet our idols. We don't want to disappoint them. Lots of people think this is a test in loyalty, and it could be, but I think if this was a test in loyalty, the other tests would have reflected other elements as well, and Yona's, I don't think, really did. Now for Cozy Low. I'm not sure what to say about this. She's this cute little filly, I love her, I don't want her to be evil. Things just aren't adding up. It seems like she's quite active in helping around the school. We've seen that in multiple episodes. Mostly it's quite innocent. But here, when she does this...
It's just so impressive how you keep trying to understand friendship, even though it isn't in your nature.
It doesn't add up. I've heard some theories say that she's helping them in her own way, and that holds validation. I mean, Discord was
manipulative.
Thank you. So it does hold validation. However, when she says this...
You get some rest. Don't Don't give any of this another thought. Just let Cozy take care of everything.
I expected her to get an evil grin, but she didn't. Still, manipulation, that she really doesn't want them to tell the main six about this, gives me an uneasy feeling. I don't know what her angle is here. I don't know what the outcome will be in her story. There's another theory that she's working with Chrysalis. She is a tactical genius, yes. Her plan to take over Canterlot was brilliant, but she's a tactician, not a schemer. Her brilliance comes from tactical strategy, not from scheming. Cozy Glow could be this cute little filly that just enjoys helping out. But the facts don't point toward that. But they also don't point toward her being completely evil either. I'm very conflicted with this character. We'll have to wait and see what happens with her. One more thing I want to mention. Why did the tree show up as Twilight? Obviously the tree can manifest in any way she wants to, but why choose Twilight? Why not choose someone like Princess Celestia or Luna or maybe an entirely different pony all at once? Why choose Twilight? It's probably because the students know Twilight quite well. I mean, she is their head mare. They know her and they're comfortable around her. Something that we've seen quite often is that people are not comfortable around the princesses, mainly Luna, Celestia, and Cadence. However, they are very comfortable around Twilight. So maybe the tree, knowing this, decided to show up as Twilight so that they would be comfortable around her. Also interesting to note is that when they first called her Twilight, the tree didn't correct them.
Headmare Twilight? Where are we?
Where you need to be.
She let them continue to think she was Twilight until after the trials had done. Then she revealed who she actually was. There is one thing I want to note about Silverstream. She's my favorite because of her personality. She's bubbly and fun and always laughing and just has a great positive outlook on life, and that's what attracts me to her. She's a lot like Pinkie in a way. But the same things that attract me to her are the same things that push me away from Pinkie, and why Pinkie is my least favorite character of the main six. I don't know why this is. Predominantly, I should like Ocellus the most, because she's most like Fluttershy in my opinion. Fluttershy is gentle, sweet, kind, and kind of shy, and that's what attracts me to her. Ocellus is similar to that in the same way, but for some reason, Silverstream has become my favorite of the new main six, even though her personality matches Pinkie, and Pinkie's personality is what made her my least favorite. I don't hate Pinkie, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that out of the main six, I like Pinkie's character the least. But for some reason, that same personality on Silverstream has made her my favorite of the new main six. Now, I've said before that Ocellus is the cutest character of the new main six, and I believe that's true. But here, Silverstream does have some cute moments. She has some cute faces and some very cute little quirks about her. And even though this episode did show us more cute parts about Silverstream, I still think Ocellus is the cutest, just based on what we've seen. Final thoughts? I adored this episode. It was so good. It's definitely one of my favorites of this season. It kept me guessing throughout. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and it gave us some amazing canon about the tree. I can't say it was on my wish list for the tree to do this, but now I'm definitely happy they did. Referring to her now as Harmony. I always kind of hoped that Harmony would be able to talk to other ponies. I didn't think about it that much. I always pictured it as 6 voices coming out of each element individually. Kind of like how the Borg talk in Star Trek.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
Looking back on that now, though, I like this version better. It sounded very much like Twilight, but it still had an otherworldly quality to it that I really, really liked.
You chose what you saw in my roots, not me. You were more concerned with each other's well-being than your own.
Now, will this tree always talk in this voice? I'm thinking probably yes, unless the tree decides to become more vocal in Equestria. I believe the only reason she appeared as Twilight to the students was for their benefit. If she decided to appear to someone else first, she may have taken a different form and used a different voice, but because it was the students, she chose Twilight. It'd be interesting to think that if she had appeared to Twilight, or Celestia, or Luna, or anyone else, if she would have chosen a different form. Obviously, if she would have shown up to Twilight, she would have chosen a different form, definitely. But what is her true form? Does she have a true form? Was she able to manifest like this before the elements were taken out of her? Looks like we're left with a lot more questions than answers at this point. Hopefully they get answered. We still have some episodes left, so maybe they'll get answered during that time. Or maybe they won't be and they'll be left to next season, in which case this will be a very frustrating hiatus. And now for my favorite scenes. Mostly just cute moments from Silverstream, and some lines I liked.
Mount Eris? Headmare Twilight sent me home? Wait, am I suspended?
Oh, aren't you just the most adorable thing? Come join us.
No. On so many levels, no. What happened to you?
What happened to you?
You never saw any of that. Got it.
This episode definitely left us with a lot of things to think about and speculate about. I give this episode a perfect 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it that much. Well, that's all I have for this episode of Crimson Analysis. I'm Crimson Shield. Thanks for watching.